While the ptarmigan struggles with hunger and cold in the blizzard, its neighbor, just 1.5 feet away, lives quite comfortably. On the surface, the meadow vole appears capable of safely enduring the long winter here. Because there's no shortage of food or playmates to interact with. The long tunnels can trap 90% of the air inside, eliminating concerns about body heat loss. But what constantly worries them is a completely invisible threat. With its sensitive hearing, the North American red fox is monitoring every movement below. The meadow vole is no ordinary creature either. After the snowstorm stops, they deliberately reduce the noise from their activities. But the red fox has its own methods to counter this. They like to tilt their heads while locating sounds. The principle they use is triangulation from surveying science. It first uses its 2 ears as base points, then establishes a triangular structure based on the sound source. By tilting its head and repeatedly comparing the sound differences between left and right, it can calculate the exact position of its prey with an error typically less than 2 inches. The red fox doesn't realize that it's actually being silently outmaneuvered by the meadow voles. These little creatures appear to be completely silent, as if they're afraid to breathe. But if we were to use an ultrasonic microphone to record the sounds at the scene, we'd discover they're actually listening to movements above while emitting ultrasonic waves to share real-time intelligence about the fox. These high-frequency sound waves cannot be heard even by the red fox. This becomes their encrypted intelligence network. Meanwhile, the sound of the red fox moving on snow is easily detected. Once hunting sounds are exposed, information quickly spreads throughout the tunnel network. The meadow vole only needs to shift position slightly, and the red fox's hunt will fail. But the red fox has another hunting ability that humans still don't fully understand. This area is very close to the magnetic North Pole of Earth's magnetic field. When hunting, they particularly prefer facing northeast, maintaining an angle of about 20 degrees with the magnetic North Pole. At this time, if they control their footstep sounds well, their hunting success rate can reach 73%. But if they deviate from this 20-degree axis, the success rate drops to just 18%. Currently, scientists speculate that red foxes can sense the Earth's magnetic field. They use the magnetic field as a ranging device for aiming, but the specific mechanism remains unknown to humans. This animal, moving like a small tunneling creature, is also busy hunting meadow voles. Its hunting method is both simple and effective. All the skills of the meadow vole are ineffective against it. However, without fur on its claws, it often shivers from the cold. At these times, it runs to the meadow vole's home to seek shelter. We're actually quite familiar with it. This is the least weasel, the world's smallest weasel. In winter, it changes its fur to white to avoid attacks from predatory birds. The least weasel is so small that it can directly visit the mouse nests. It primarily relies on its keen sense of smell to hunt and navigate in the burrows. Due to their fast metabolism, meadow voles must frequently search for food everywhere. The vigilant meadow vole has detected the enemy in advance. But the scent it leaves behind is difficult to dissipate. The weasel has discovered its target. The least weasel has short limbs and smooth fur, making it perfectly adapted for moving through mouse tunnels. The shelter of the meadow vole has instead become a prison difficult to escape. The weasel not only kills the homeowner, but also eats their flesh and occupies their nest. It even pulls off the leftover fur to keep itself warm. As a small, solitary carnivore, the least weasel must always be on guard against various predators from outside. The underground burrows of meadow voles are undoubtedly the best hiding places. However, these homeless mice cannot live here anymore. They need to find a new home as soon as possible. Outside seems peaceful, but it actually conceals an even more ferocious invisible predator. This is the world's most silent flying bird, coming like a ghost to claim lives. The victim doesn't even have time to see its attacker clearly. The great gray owl is the world's longest-bodied owl with the largest facial disc. Even when hiding 165 feet away under 20 inches of snow, prey cannot escape the great gray owl's keen hearing. But the meadow vole must take its chances. After a lucky escape, it still needs to remain motionless for a while to avoid being betrayed by the sound of its footsteps. The meadow vole is naturally a solitary animal, but becomes quite united in winter. At this time, they're very willing to share their nests with each other to share the risks. But a meadow vole's heart must beat at least 300 times per minute, requiring them to constantly forage for food to provide energy for survival. However, it's precisely these foraging sounds that keep them under constant surveillance. The concave face of the great gray owl functions like a satellite dish, collecting and amplifying distant sounds. But the sounds it's more interested in are deeply hidden beneath a snow layer. Although meadow voles cannot fight against the great gray owl, their position gives them a natural advantage. Because thick snow has a strong sound-absorbing effect. At this point, the great gray owl will move its head back and forth like adjusting an antenna to receive the best sound signals. But even after determining the sound source, it cannot attack rashly, because snow also causes sound refraction. Therefore, the actual position of the meadow vole is actually closer than what is heard. Next, the great gray owl will fly to the suspicious spot for an on-site investigation. The closer they are to the sound source, the less refraction occurs. When flying directly above the meadow vole, it can accurately hear the true position of its prey. This is the Wildlife Stories, exploring the miracles behind every life with you. Thank you for watching.